Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. Today we have with us Aleksander, who's the Managing Director of Wealth Excel. Aleksander, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Mike. Pleasure to meet you and be on your show.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk with you. I always love learning about different people's perspectives in industry and how you serve your clients. So let's get started with your story and background and how did you get involved in the financial services industry?
Yeah, shortly. Thanks very much, Mike. Again, I appreciate the opportunity to be on your show. Well, I've been in business. This year marks my 21st anniversary. I can't believe that the time flies by so fast. I just remember that I joined one firm and then quick enough became independent, and voila, 20 years passed. I'm still doing what I'm doing, and I'm so passionate about it. And in the past 21 years, all I can say is that I've served so many amazing people, my clients and or collaboration advisors and CPAs that I worked with. And over the course of this 21 years, we started to focus on two areas, or in other words, expertise of ours that we helped our clients with, mainly focusing on the tax savings and charitable giving. And as a result, our focus became to specialize in two areas. One would be advanced pension plans, where we provide comprehensive third-party administration services and asset management. And second strategy that we specialize in would be financed charitable giving. And we handle everything from underwriting to execution of the loan and life insurance collateral for our clients. So as I mentioned, we work mainly directly with the clients and or collaboratively with CPAs, insurance agents, financial and investment advisors. And in that capacity, we are acting almost as an extension of their services to help their clients with those verticals, such as tax saving strategies and charitable giving. And I would say our role is to enhance clients' perspective and build pre-tax wealth, and also cater to these advisors to enhance their offerings by leveraging our expertise to help their clients to achieve greater tax savings. So that's kind of who we are and what we do. Mike?
You know, I heard tax and tax saving several times, and that's such a huge focus because you can have amassed a huge amount of money for retirement, but if you have not done it in a tax favored way, then you're getting ready to face a lot of obstacles that way. So I love that you focus on that. And another phrase that jumped out at me is, I think we've all heard of the phrase charitable giving, but talk a little bit about what financed charitable giving is.
Oh, yes. I am fascinated about the fact that not a lot of people aware of charitable gift financing strategy. However, a lot of people already, believe it or not, doing some form of finance charitable giving. And the concept is fairly straightforward. And I think the easiest way to explain it without going into the weeds of the technicalities is looking at the world of finance in general. So anything from your home, I would say investment properties, cars, equipment, services, vacation, anything can be financed. And I always ask a question, then why not charitable gifts? And in fact, a lot of people who donate various causes already use very common form of financing called credit card. And the classical example I give all the time, if you watch a commercial of a Red Cross and you're compelled to give and you conveniently pull out your credit card and say, okay, here's a credit card number, please take however much, let's say $10,000. Believe it or not, you just use the form of a financed charitable giving, because it's not you who's sending a cash or even writing a check. But in this modern society world that we live in, conveniently using a credit card, temporarily borrowing from a credit card company is okay. And IRS recognizes the fact that even though you borrowed the money, you're entitled to a deduction at the time of you borrowing and giving to a charity, because charity recognizes that gift and issues a receipt in your name, not in the name of a credit card. But then how you deal with a credit card later, whether you repay next month or you go on an installment payments or you never repay it back, that is, well, of course, in the latter situation, you will have consequences. However, IRS does not challenge of the fact how you repay the credit card, when you repay the credit card, for the purposes of a deduction. You were entitled to a deduction at the time of you borrowing and giving, not to wait until the debt is repaid. So, and this is exactly the revenue ruling 7838, which this strategy has been around since 1978 in one form or another. It's just never been sort of programmed in a way of dealing with these specialty lenders who only lend for the purposes of giving. But we all use one way or another already financed charitable giving. So that's kind of how I would describe it. And of course, what we do a full comprehensive approach of entire systemization of how this financed charitable giving on a larger scale for folks who make $1 million plus of AGI can capitalize on 60% write-off to finance up to 90% of that gift. And that gift amount qualifies for a charitable deduction, as we all know, up to 60% of AGI, which reduces the client's taxable income substantially. So that is the power of leveraging. Mike?
Yeah, it really is, and I'm curious what the strategy is as far as that debt that you're borrowing, because obviously this is not the right plan for every single person you work with. So it's special people, and we get that. But then are your clients tending to leave that debt on there for a while, or are they paying that debt off in a shorter period of time?
Oh, very good question. The loan comes with very lucrative terms. So number one, it's no personal guarantee. It's a non-recourse loan. There is a collateral in place called the life insurance, and the repayment of the loan is uniquely structured so that life insurance contract is used to repay the loan sometime in the future. Because the loan comes as a balloon note, which effectively will be triggered repayment at the time of a death. So we use the life insurance to allow and enable client to permanently have safety net, just in case whenever, God forbid, happens to them and they pass away, the life insurance death benefit kicks in and immediately repays the loan. So that is the beauty of repayment, so that the client doesn't have to pay ongoingly. They're not required to pay interest every year. So the interest is simply added to the principal of the loan. And at some time in the future, life insurance death benefit will be used to repay the loan.
I love it. I'm familiar with permanent life insurance strategies, and we don't need to get into the weeds of it, but I love how you tied that together, because a lot of times people think, oh, I've got insurance, I'm good to go. But if you can use it in this really advanced way that you're talking about, it gives multiple benefits. So I think that's huge. So when you're talking with your clients, what are some of the common challenges that they face, and is your firm providing solutions for that?
Oh, yet another good question. So a lot of times we hear, oh, it's too good to be true. How come I've never heard of this? Why would any lender allow us to borrow, and what's in it for them? Who are the lenders? Why, if the strategy been since 1978, my CPA, for instance, never brought it up, or in fact, my other financial advisors. And I always say, look, there are so many strategies that you may not be aware of. It doesn't mean that this strategy is either A, too good to be true, B, are in some shape or form grayish. Absolutely not. We're dealing with the law, and the law is very particular and specific. It's Revenue Ruling 7838. It's not the interpretation of the law. It's not strategy in the way. It's not how you do it, what you do. It's the law. And if so long as we specifically abide by the law and follow the steps that the law allows us to do, you as a potential client entitled to a tax deduction, there is nothing wrong with it. Almost the same way you use the credit card, nobody asks you a question about why did you use the credit card for the purposes of giving. Same way here, why would anybody ask why these lender or that lender would lend you for the purposes of giving? It's no question asked. But I would say it boils down to maybe top 5 type of situations when the clients ask, and my answers are like top 5 would be the qualifying parameters, if you will, of a client's. It's $1 million plus of AGI, and it's a limited pool to begin with. Not a lot of people make the kind of a money that we're talking about to make sense of for this particular strategy. Number 2, I would say, even though we deal with this type of clients who make $1 million, but they're not necessarily maybe charitably inclined, because well, that's how the world is. Some people are compelled to give. Some people are just absolutely not. There's nothing wrong with it. But that particular aspect would automatically rule out them out of the strategy, because one of the conditions for this strategy to work, they must be charitably inclined. This is essentially the cornerstone of a strategy. That's what it begins with. Number 3, I would say time constraints, because these individuals often lead very busy lives, as we all know, and they may not simply have time to explore or maybe like research different giving and tax saving strategies. They rely on the resources that they already have built around them, or maybe go to those advisors that they trust enough. But those advisors are not equipped maybe with more advanced type of strategies. So there are many, many reasons, and they simply don't want to invest their time in dealing with these type of sophisticated strategies. Number 4, I would say maybe like habit and comfort, because we're all creatures of habit, and we are accustomed to their maybe, them, I would say, current financial practices, and are certainly reluctant to change. So some of them are very much open, but many of them are like, you know what, I'm okay, and I simply don't want to make waves and create possible paths for IRS to audit my books, which is misconception to begin with, but that is usually in common what the clients would say. And at the end of the day, I think it boils down to the education. And that's what I'm doing. And with a group such as the ERT, I think it's a perfect example where me being as a specialist in these 2 areas, one of which would be this financed charitable giving, we just need to do a better job of educating potential prospects, clients, and about the benefits and possibilities of structured giving strategies. So that's how I would probably describe it. Mike.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. And I think that when people say it sounds too good to be true, show me the proof, and you can pull up hundreds of years of use of this financial instrument, because I know that people have used a permanent life insurance contract for many financial tools for so long. So when you can point to the tax code, point to the use from decades and decades, it really helps people feel better. Can you think of an example of when you've been working with a client and your firm really made a big impact in their financial well-being using one of your strategies?
Oh, yeah, we face this every day. But just to further your explanation about the validity of a transaction, this strategy comes with, actually, before we do anything for the client, they would consult with a tax attorney. And the tax
Yes.
attorney, when it comes to sophistication of the strategy, would provide them a written tax opinion letter. And that tax opinion letter not only covers all of the laws and any pending cases, if there are any cases in the court that resulted in any type of outcome. And by the way, this strategy had zero negative outcomes in any court settings, which is good to know. Therefore, the tax opinion letter comes with so-called highest confidence opinion letter, which essentially, loosely speaking, but in legal terms, I'm not obviously a lawyer, but the lawyers say it's a will opinion, meaning the IRS will accept the strategy as a valid transaction because of the fact that all boxes are checked. So the conformable note agreement between the client and the lender. B, the actual funding of the charity. C, charity confirms the receipt of the funds in issuing the charitable gift receipt. And finally, obviously, client adopting that charitable gift receipt and filing their tax return. So every single purpose for the reasons to prove that this transaction is kosher and 100% bulletproof in the way that everything is confirmable. So the client receives that peace of mind to confirm the validity of a transaction. They also have ability to confirm from a legal standpoint of why and how and so on and so forth on the transaction side. And only then we kind of go into the nitty-gritty of underwriting and so on and so forth. Now, to address your question when it comes to helping clients, we deal with very interesting group of clients. No kidding about that, because I would say the ideal client profile is someone who is A, charitably inclined, B, adjusted gross income of $1 million or more, liquid net worth of $2 million or more, and total net worth $5 million plus. So to begin with, it's a limited pool, but by definition, it's a very interesting group, yet very humble group. And we, when can go over the strategies and the steps that it take and the timeline associated with those steps, I kid you not, most of the time, a lot of people say, I wish I met you 5 years ago, last year, 3 years ago. I could have saved so much money in taxes, number one, and I could have made such a bigger impact in the community. I could have amplified my gift 10 times more than I have actually gifted. So all of these very positive comments, by the time they understand the strategy, they fully vet the strategy and feel very confident and comfortable with the strategy. That's all they say, as if they kind of regretted the fact that they didn't have invested enough time to look into what ifs and what out there that may give them this kind of amplification and gratitude towards of increasing their gift. And of course, it comes with the tax deduction anyways to save on taxes massively. So I can't give exact specific case because all of these cases have one thing in common. And I just described just a few components of that, one thing in common is gratitude and their willingness to, from that point on, to say, wow, I did something really profound and I really love it. And they tend to continue and renew this program year after year, year after year. And that's why our renewal rate of clients coming back to us and doing it year after year is at averaging about 75%. Mike.
Wow. That says a lot when you can say 75% renewal rate and those people are saying, I wish I had come to you sooner. That shows that they're very pleased with the process and comfortable and confident. So I think that is spectacular, Aleksander. If someone is interested in learning more about what you guys do and reaching out and connecting with you, what's the best way that they can do that?
Yeah, thank you very much. So we are always open to new clients in a way to help them to understand about the strategy, see it themselves, and really comprehend the power of this strategy. And best way to contact us would be by going to our website. Our website name is wealth-excel.com. or by calling us at 213-302-8000, 213-302-8000, and request information about Financed Charitable Giving, and we will be gladly to show them what the strategy is. Or in fact, they can go to our specific landing page called cgf101.com. C Charlie G George F Frank 101.com, and it would give them the full spectrum of information about charitable gift financing. And then further, they can contact us and have a conversation.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been a real pleasure talking with you, Aleksander.
Thank you, Mike. And it was a pleasure to meet you as well and be on the show.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.